Hey everyone, and welcome back to Cocktails and Classics, where each episode we force our friend Cameron, who hasn't seen many classics, to watch one. During the movie, we'll be drinking a cocktail inspired by the movie, and we're going to give you the recipe so hopefully you can try it at home. I'm Dylan, and joining me today are Cameron
Hey.
and Ben.
Hey, everybody.
This week we watched Mars Attacks, and to get everybody in the right mood, we're going to talk about this week's cocktail, the Alien Secretion. We got our recipe from Tipsy Bartender. Check the show notes below if you want that recipe. It's 2 ounces of coconut rum, 2 ounces of melon liqueur, and 3 ounces of pineapple juice. Mix that all together. You're going to get a nice green drink with a little frothy top on there from that pineapple. It's going to be sweet. The coconut is going to really take over. You might get a little bit of that melon liqueur. If you like those like sweeter drinks with a little punch, this one was going to be perfect for you. If you make one, send us a picture on Instagram at Cocktails and Classics Pod and use the hashtag Cocktails and Classics. Or if Twitter is your thing, tweet us at Cocktails Class. We'd love to see what you make and hear your thoughts on how they turned out.
Ew. If you have an alien secretion, go ahead and send us a picture and tag us at Cocktails and Classics.
Hashtag
We'd
Dr.
love
Pimple
to see
Popper.
how your secretion comes out.
That's gotta stay in. Holy shit. Send a picture of your alien secretion and tag us at Cocktails and Classics.
Oh my god.
Send us your tribute videos.
Send us your Ray J sex tape at Cocktails and Classics.
I'm a fan of coconut rum and pineapple juice. This was good. I just think it was, with the melon liqueur in there, definitely a little sweet. This is like a 1 or 2. And then I can't have any more. My stomach will get upset from all the sugar. But I definitely recommend, to give it a try. It's tasty, but it's just very sweet.
I do like the color of it. Like how it's like bright green.
Yeah, makes it really nice.
Makes it look
drink.
much like an alien secretion. Who named this? I want to know who
feel
named
like
this
I'm
drink.
drinking something very natural and not artificially colored.
Yeah, like alien secretion.
I will say if you don't care about the color as much, you could like spice it up a little bit. I did like cream of coconut and some dark like Jamaican rum, and it's actually pretty good. It's still a little sweet for my taste, but it doesn't just taste like licking a fucking like rock candy. It's actually
But that's exactly what I want.
okay. Well, then
And-
you can make the alien secretion. This week we watched Mars Attacks, a 1996 film from Tim Burton, our second Tim Burton film in a week. Totally unplanned. I forgot he directed this, so just a little magic, I guess.
See, that's weird because I feel like I saw this, and if you didn't tell me Tim Burton did it, I wouldn't have known.
See, I couldn't tell. I wouldn't be able to tell in the first 5 minutes, but there are definitely things throughout the movie that honestly felt kind of subtle, but super Tim Burton-y.
Yeah, I agree there. Like, I feel like it's not like in your face that it's Tim Burton,
Yeah.
but after you get into it a while and you're like, yeah, I can see.
Or
I can see these.
you'll just kind of be watching, you forget it's Tim Burton, and then you see something, you're like, oh, right, this is a Tim Burton movie. The church that, is it Barb goes to when she's at the AA meeting, and it's that, like, garish pink color, definitely was straight up a Tim Burton shot.
And some of the like macabre things, like the heads and that sort of stuff, is very like I feel like of his
Yeah.
filmmaking. A quick plot summary here is Earth is invaded by Martians with unbeatable weapons and a very cruel sense of humor. Currently sits at a 6.3 out of 10 on IMDb. It's based off a trading card series from I think like the 50s. Music by Danny Elfman, Ben's favorite, and all-star cast: Jack Nicholson, Glenn Close, Pierce Brosnan, Danny DeVito, Martin Short, Sarah Jessica Parker, Michael J. Fox,
Jack
Tom
Nicholson
Jones.
again.
Yeah.
Natalie Portman. Yeah. It's something to behold, I would say. I feel like it's a very divisive movie. Get that out of the way beforehand. I feel like this will be one you either love or you hate. Cam, what's your initial reaction to Mars Attacks?
It was a weird movie. It was a really weird fucking movie.
Hottest take ever.
That Tim Burton, he's so weird.
It so was out
odd.
there.
I don't know what I was expecting of this movie. But I mean, it was clearly a parody of like 1950s alien movies. But man, it was odd. I mean, it was funny. Like I was laughing a lot of the time just because of like how absurd a lot of it was. Did you mention Danny DeVito is in this movie?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
For like the 15 seconds that he is in the movie.
Yeah.
There are so many that was the other thing is one of my other impressions is there were so many like, especially at the time, A-list actors in this movie, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Dude, yeah.
Who? And Tom Jones. I thought Tom Jones was gonna have like a cameo, and then he's just like in 20 minutes of the movie as a main character,
but not to
Disney
like the
princess
end
scene at the end.
Yeah, it's
What?
so good.
His Disney princess scene at the end.
When he starts singing,
When all
it's
the
not
deer are
unusual.
coming, he's just like-
and the squirrels
like it was
start
like,
coming
oh, I
towards
guess
him.
Tom Jones is a main character in this movie now. That's weird. As himself,
Yeah, so weird.
like he's singing on stage in Vegas and turns into a main character of the movie.
Yeah, the whole dialogue between them at that where she's like, "Oh yeah, like, do you know how to fly a plane? No, do you have one? Yeah." And then like Tom Jones comes over, they're like, "Yeah, do you know how to fly a plane? Yeah, why? You got one?" Like, okay, yeah, that's convenient. Tom Jones
Like, yeah,
knows how
Tom
to fly a
Jones
plane.
knows how to fly a plane. That's cool.
But then when they get to the plane and she's like, "Are you sure you can fly this?" "I'm sure I'll figure it out." He just starts flipping switches until it starts.
Were there any memorable scenes for the movie?
I mean, the one that sticks out to me is like the dismembered heads, and like when Sarah Jessica Parker head is put on her dog's body, and vice versa, and then also later when Pierce Brosnan's head is just kind of floating detached away from his like body parts.
Yeah, it was a little macabre.
Yeah, like
I
that's
was
like that was like pretty like it was kind of gross actually. It's like oh.
I think the thing that caught me off guard was I didn't notice it at first until like a few minutes into them showing Pierce Brosnan's head sitting there, but just like the occasional drip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When it was just like I would notice it and then I'd be like, oh god.
The beginning was I like when there's like the running cows and they're just all on fire. Like you having a barbecue? Is it Filipino New Year?
God.
And there's just like the stampede of like burning cows. That's kind of like, oh, they're just getting right into it.
Yeah, we're just going full bore. I think
Full bovine.
one
Thanks.
God damn it. I think my favorites are the scenes with the president's wife. She's just like talking about all the different parts of the White House, and then when they finally, spoiler alert, when they shoot the chandelier, the Nancy Reagan, and you just see it drop, but then it's very clearly like a dummy that gets crushed.
Yeah.
Like it's super noticeable.
That was one of my favorite parts of the movie that I thought was hysterical, where they were like, "Oh, they're peaceful, civilized people. They would never hurt us." And then they like, kill everyone at the first like site they land. And then they say, "Oh, that was a misunderstanding." And then they go like they want to address all of Congress, and so they send them there. And outside they have signs that are like "No birds."
Yeah.
And then they kill all of Congress. And then even later, like, the French president is like, "Yeah, they're ambassadors here. We're going to sign a deal." And
Get out of there.
The
Get out of
president's
there.
like, "You
Get
got
out
to
of
get out of
there."
the room." And then they all die. It's like, come on.
I love Jack Black's bit. Like, he was only in the movie for
Yeah.
a little bit, but Jack Black's character is just goofy.
It's
as
just
hell.
like this everyone views him as this war hero. He grabs a gun, can't load it, grabs the flag and goes, I surrender. Immediately dies, and then everyone's like, he's a hero.
Oh my god. Yeah, I loved like Richie, just like his parents. Anytime he like came in the house, they would just like shit on him and be like, why can't you be a war hero like your brother?
The wrong one died.
God.
It should have been you. But my favorite is like even when they're getting ready to greet everyone and you just see Jack Black and he's like setting up the barricade. But then, like, he turns around, his uniform's untucked, his ass crack is hanging out. Like, he just looks like a slob. And then everyone just remembers him as being this great person.
God. You got the freaking... When the aliens are, like, attacking, there's all the stock footage of, like, Big Ben being blown up and, like, all the people worshiping at Mecca and stuff.
The aliens taking this, like, the picture in front of the... Is it the Taj Mahal?
The Taj Mahal.
And it's being blown up behind them.
They're bowling at Easter Island and everything.
Yeah,
oh, my
just
gosh.
all the random shenanigans.
Yeah, one of my favorite things is like when I think you really get it when they're in Vegas, but the aliens are like chasing people down and they have the speaker and it's just like, don't run, we're your friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any memorable lines? We've already talked about a few, but
One of mine favorite was after they killed Congress, Jack Nicholson's like, we got mostly a functioning government. 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Yes. Yeah, I was going to say that exact same thing. He says, we have to let the people know we still have two branches of government still working, and that ain't bad.
Yeah.
I want people to know the schools will still be open.
Oh.
I like Jack Nicholson that like when he's trying to like reason with the alien, he's like, can't we all just get along? And then he like instantly dies.
The alien like sheds a tear and then
Yeah.
I don't know if that was a nod to the Joker, but like when the fake hand comes off and
Oh, I'm not sure.
you know, it's kind of like maybe that's a Batman reference.
Could be.
I don't really understand the point of having Art as a character, like Jack Nicholson's other character.
I read something about how, I mean, this could be totally false, but apparently someone told Tim Burton that he couldn't kill off Jack Nicholson's character. So he wrote him 2 characters and killed both of them.
See, that would be like a freaking Mad Lad.
So
Tim
I don't know
Burton
if that's true,
This-
but that could be a meme.
This movie seems like just such like a kid trying to get a Mad Lads like to the front page. Is the studio's just like, well, Tim, you can't do this. Okay, I'm gonna do all of it.
I'm
Tim,
going to do
the
it
budget,
twice.
Tim, the budget for this movie is insane. Yeah, but I have to have all of these A-list actors. But why? You'll see. Gets to the premiere and they're like, God damn it, what are
Yeah.
you doing?
I was looking up like random stuff after watching the movie, and apparently they had trouble getting people to the movie, like getting people to sign on to the movie. And then apparently Jack Nicholson was kind of like the turning point where Jack Nicholson was like, yeah, I really want to work with you again. Because, you know, like he did Batman and stuff. So like he was like, I want to work with you again on this movie. And so once Jack Nicholson came on, like a bunch of the other actors like started calling and trying to get in as well.
I did like the when they're doing the alien autopsy, and I believe it's Pierce Brosnan's character, or Brosnan. Sorry, his last name is a wild one. When they're doing the alien autopsy, and Pierce Brosnan's character is looking at the corpse, he says, "What concerns me is the lack of genitalia." That's really.
Pierce Brosnan's character was funny because he was kind of like the one that was like, no, they're harmless. Don't worry about it. Like they're much more advanced than we are. They can't be violent. And he just was like constantly screwing people over. And then like the one person, it's funny because I feel like it kind of actually like flipped the trope on its head, because I feel like the scientist is usually the one that's correct and people don't listen to, and the generals are often the ones who are like just trying to like go to war. But in this movie, it's the opposite. The president's listening to this scientist who's clearly, like, wrong. And the general who's like, we have to fight them. They're not, like, they just killed a bunch of people. What are you doing? And he's like, no. Stop talking. Let me listen to this guy.
I like how in the beginning he goes to the other general because he's not supporting the nukes and that. And then while they're on the way to do the greeting, he's on the phone and he's like, "Yeah, I told you. All I have to do is not say or do anything, and I'll keep moving up."
Oh,
Like
yeah.
that's the moral of this story.
And then, like, 2 minutes later, he gets killed by the
Yep.
alien. First guy.
We come in peace. Zzz.
Oh God, Richie and like Grandma and Natalie Portman at the end. Richie's like, "You don't have to kiss me if you don't
That
want
was such
to."
a
It's
cringe
so
fest.
cringe.
Ugh.
His speech at the end too. He like
Yeah.
starts talking. The one guy's like, "Can you speak up? We can't hear you."
Oh my
Also,
god.
Natalie Portman's like, "Oh, my dad would be giving you this, but he's not here."
Do you have a girlfriend?
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck is happening right now? Like, yo, her parents just got murdered by aliens, and so did yours too, probably. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Oh, they
Oh
did.
yeah, no, they were in the trailer
As
park.
he's-
They got smashed
yeah,
together by
as
the
he's
robot.
driving off, they pick up the trailers and just mash them against each other. Jesus Christ. Yeah, no, that was super cringy at the end.
I loved it though. I eat up some cringe.
Top tier
I'm-
cringe.
I'm not gonna lie. A lot of this movie was like top tier cringe.
Wow.
I understand why this movie didn't do well like in 96, but I feel like if it were to come out today with where we're at with like the meme culture, I feel like this movie would be massive.
Yeah, I'm surprised when I mentioned this movie to people. A lot of people were like, "Why are you watching Mars Attacks?" And I'm kind of like, after watching it, I was kind of like, maybe people just don't get it really. I don't know, because it's definitely satire. Like,
Oh, for sure.
I would say this is like the anti-Independence Day almost.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah, I would say this is like, it has some political satire. It has just kind of like, it's self-aware of what the movie is, this sci-fi invasion film. And you have the guy who's like, nuke them now, nuke them now. You have the guy who's like, oh no, they're peaceful. We come in peace. They're good aliens. They're smart. And it kind of is, it really just kind of like memes itself and parodies itself kind of hard on that front, that it never takes itself too seriously, and the campiness actually, it made me laugh a lot.
Well, I think it's a direct like parody of a lot of those movies, like you were saying, the
yeah.
50s and 60s drive-in movies for sure.
Yeah, I could definitely see this playing at a drive-in theater. It feels like a B movie with the A-list of A-list casts at 96, like in 1996.
Yeah, it feels like a B movie that someone paid a lot of money to have made.
Well, especially too with the CGI, like those aliens couldn't have been cheap to CGI in.
No, and the CGI, it looks pretty good. For
It's not
being
awful. Yeah.
24 years old.
So I would say, yeah, it's kind of dated in that sense. But to be perfectly honest, the way the rest of the movie feels, the campiness of how like out of date the aliens look, doesn't draw away from it. Like, it just kind of helps play into the whole campy, like, B-movie vibe it gives off.
The way the art style is, like, it almost feels like an animation in a sense to me, and the fact that they kind of like accepted that and they made it look animated, it almost doesn't date as quickly as if they tried to do like this ultra realistic alien.
Apparently, Tim Burton wanted to actually do stop motion for this movie, but then someone convinced him to do CGI instead.
That makes sense. Stop motion, very, very Burton-y. Classic Burton.
So I can see what you're saying though about the like cartoonish type of animation style, because like I said, initially for stop motion it wouldn't be realistic like that anyway, so that makes sense. What I was gonna say before though is that if it's interesting we're watching this like right after Independence Day or like soon after, because I feel like the two movies kind of go hand in hand and they even came out in the same year. However, apparently, the people who were writing Independence Day got wind that this movie was going to come out later in the year, in like August or September or something like that, or December actually. And so they were like, "Oh shit, we can't have our movie come out after this movie, or else it'll be a total like flop, basically, or people won't take it seriously." And so this movie actually had a direct influence to Independence Day being called Independence Day, because they decided to just put it in July and just name it Independence Day. And they're like, "All right, we'll figure out the rest later." Today's episode is brought to you by Audible. How it works is every month members get 1 credit to pick any title, plus 2 Audible originals from a monthly selection. Audible has a free, easy-to-use app that allows you to download titles and listen offline at your convenience. Dylan and Ben, what are your experiences with Audible?
So I used the Audible free trial a couple years ago, and I've gone back to it since. I listened to Pet Sematary by Stephen King, and I really like it when I'm driving on like long road trips.
I used it to listen to one of James Ellroy's LA quartet novels, The Big Nowhere. I would definitely recommend it to anyone on the go, whether it's just driving to work or for long flights. It's great. You can, listen to something on your phone, connect it to Bluetooth. You get to work, log into your work computer, and listen up.
To start your free 30-day trial, go to audibletrial.com/cocktailsandclassics, all lowercase. Again, that's audibletrial.com/cocktailsandclassics. After your free trial is up, it'll cost $14.95 per month. However, there are no commitments, and if you can't decide what to listen to at that particular month, that's okay. You can always roll your credits over for up to a year.
This is typically the part of the show where Zach will take over and give us a quiz, but in his absence, for the second week in a row, Ben is just becoming the Tim Burton expert, it sounds like, I guess. Ben is going to take over the quiz and give us a little trivia.
Ben, real Tim Burton fan.
Much like Tim Burton's follow-up hit to Batman, I too am returning to give you another quiz. All right,
we gotta cancel this. I'm done.
Okay. All right. So, first I want to give a shout out to Zach for still doing all of the quiz prep and sending me the questions so I didn't have to do any research. So, shout out to Zach. Question 1, true or false? Paul Newman was originally cast as President James Dale.
See, my thought process is that Tim Burton had Jack Nicholson in mind, and that he was hell-bent on getting him to be the president. But part of me thinks that this is oddly specific enough to be true as well. This
He
is
could have been some other character, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
True. I'm but Paul Newman just out of the blue?
Yeah, has he ever been in a Tim Burton flick?
I don't know. Maybe his dressing has been in a Tim Burton flick.
Ooh. He makes some good dressing.
Also makes good, pasta sauces. Newman's Own.
Yeah.
Shout out Newman's Own.
Especially because all their profits go to charity, so.
Yeah. Shout out Sundance Kid, or is he Butch Cassidy? I don't know which one he is.
He might be Butch Cassidy.
I was going to say, make sure you finish that. Don't just be like, oh, Paul Newman, he's Butch.
Big Butch, that Paul Newman.
Big Butch energy.
Shout out Paul Newman, right?
Shout out Paul Newman. All right, Dylan, answer.
And his ranch dressing. Shout out Paul Newman and his ranch dressing. Why do I have to go first?
I know the answer to this one.
Can't do too much goddamn research. Are you Ben?
I know.
Are you fucking Ben right now? Goddamn researching bitches.
Oh, if Cam looked this up beforehand, he fucking dug through that IMDb trivia page like he was a fucking pig looking for a truffle, I'll tell you what.
I found the truffles.
It was all the quiz questions.
Oh, man.
Fucking Zach must have used Quizlet over here.
Dylan, what's your answer?
I'm going to say true.
Yeah, I believe the answer is true. At least I know he was considered for the role, or at least selected. I don't know how far he got, but apparently he had objections over to the violence in the movie, so he turned it down.
All right, so we're gonna head into question 2 with
Wait,
a
was
high.
that the right answer?
Everyone got that one right. It was
Nice.
true. Question 2. Danny DeVito and Jack Nicholson co-star in Mars Attacks, with Danny playing Rude Gambler and Jack playing both President Dale and Art Land. But how many non-mockumentary movies have the two starred in together? 2,
Oh my god.
4, or 6?
Non-mockumentary? Is this a mockumentary?
No, a
Yes.
mockumentary.
Yes, this is a fictional true story of Mars attacking.
Okay.
No,
Well,
Set-
a
set up as
mockumentary
a
would be like
documentary.
Spinal Tap, Blair Witch
Oh, okay.
Projects.
Well, it's like a documentary, but it's all fake.
okay. I understand. Okay. I can't name a single movie they're in together, so I'm going to say 2. Other than this one. Oh, but this one counts, right? I would assume. Does it count this one?
No, I think he said other than this one.
I didn't write the goddamn
No,
questions.
he said no mockumentaries. He didn't say, I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to say 2, I guess. I'm going to say 2. I can't think of any movies off the top of my head.
I kind of want to side with Cam though. To be honest,
You
like
can. You can do that.
I don't know really of any other movies. I guess I'll go 4. Maybe there's ones I don't know of.
All right. Well, shout out to Zach for a stumper. The answer was 6.
Wow.
Also,
What are the
right off
fucking
the-
movies?
Well, the first one everyone should have thought of was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
I didn't know
DeVito's
Danny
in that
DeVito
movie?
was in that movie.
They parody it in Always Sunny.
Yeah, I know that, but I didn't know that he was in it.
Yeah. Oh, I know I'm right. It's the answer's right in front of me. So, it is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest in 1975, Going South in 1978, Terms of Endearment in 1983, Hoffa in 1992, Mars Attacks in 1996, and Under the Boardwalk, The Monopoly Story in 2010.
Oh, excuse me, what?
What the fuck is that?
What,
They
what was
They
that last one?
also, Under the Boardwalk, The Monopoly Story. Don't ask me, don't know. So, Richie rocks the same Alien Sex Fiend album t-shirt throughout the movie. Which album appears on his t-shirt? A. Acid Bath, B. Here Come Germs, or C. Another Planet?
Which one is Richie?
He's the nerd that
He's the one who
kisses
saves the day.
Natalie Portman.
Oh, gotcha. God, I have no idea.
I was gonna say A. I think it's Acid Bath. I don't quite remember.
What's the third answer? I don't think it's that one.
Another Planet.
No.
Here Come Germs.
Oh, that's the one I was gonna say. Shit. Well, I mean, I'm gonna say it, I guess. I'm gonna say Here Come Germs.
All right. With that, we have wrapped up this week's edition of the quiz. Pulling it out, possibly
one.
for the first time.
Dylan!
Oh my god.
He did it.
Good
Yes,
Ladies and
ladies
gentlemen.
and gentlemen, it only took 15 episodes.
It took
I did
15. It took 15 episodes and an acid bath T-shirt.
Barely eked it out at the end.
Yes, he did.
So I did the dirty work of scrounging the internet, looking for some reviews on this movie, and I want to hear your thoughts on them. First up is from Letterboxd. This might be my new favorite review spot. From I.V, gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Says, the Martians aren't the bad guys. They destroyed the political class, the capitalists, the generals, and the media so that the Earth could be inherited by service and transit workers, blaxploitation icons, gamer teens, and Tom Jones.
Gamer teens.
Oh
That's the
my
end of the
god!
Okay, initially when this guy
Wait, that's all the review is?
Yes.
So
Oh my
okay, so
God.
when you first started reading it, I thought this was just some edgelord who was like, "Yeah, burn down the government, man." But then when he
And
said
then-
gamer teens, like, okay, he's just memeing. All right, thank you.
And then by the end of
Gamer
it, I knew it
teens.
was just an edgelord.
And Tom Jones. Don't forget
And-
Tom
And
Jones.
Tom Jones. Blaxploitation actors, gamer teens, and Tom Jones.
Tom Jones is taking over Mother Nature. Oh my god, that's so funny.
Oh my god.
Is that? I feel like is that actually a review of the movie, or is he just memeing on us? Because I feel like that's just a meme.
I feel like that's a meme. But he
No, it's
gave
probably
Funny review though.
yes.
what his actual review in stars was, but then just gave a meme write up.
Yeah, Letterboxd kind of seems to be a lot of meme reviews.
Yeah, like that guy who poisoned himself with ham.
Yes, his expired ham sandwich. Never forget. Maybe he's still alive, or maybe he died after making the review. But
He wrote the review, then croaked.
so the second review I have here is from IMDb. Gave it a 1 out of 10 stars. Titled "Why Little People Was This Film Ever Made?" Question mark. From Brian178 from July 2nd, 2000. Completely unfunny and full of graphic violence. This may be one of the worst movies of the 90s. This is truly a movie that just goes to prove that a great cast doesn't equal a great movie. Its PG-13 rating is underrating its content. The movie should have been rated R and should have been direct to video. Or not on video at all would be preferred. Waste of time and talent. But what you can expect from a movie based on a pack of bubblegum cards? A note to the review about Yada Yada and Clockwork Orange all rolled into one. Please do not compare the masterpiece Clockwork to this disaster.
Is that the end?
Yes.
Wow. Do not compare Clockwork to this. Okay, that is a great movie. I watch it every night, and it just don't even talk about it. Okay,
This
don't even put that in your
lighthearted
mouth.
comedy, Clockwork Orange, should not be compared to the trash dumpster fire that is Mars Attacks.
I feel like this was just an R whoosh review that just everything went straight
Didn't get
over
it,
this guy's
yeah.
head.
You just didn't get it.
You know, this is like the guy that's like, I don't watch many R-rated movies, but when they really zap that guy into a red painted skeleton, it really just...
Yeah, also like
Whew.
gratuitous violence. Like, I mean, it has some violence in it, but like there was no blood or anything. You just like they literally zap people and then they turn into a skeleton.
Yeah, the only blood you ever actually see is all the aliens. That's it. Like you see like the goo or whatever.
You might
You
see
get-
some when Martin Short's finger gets bitten off, but
Yeah, when he gets his finger bitten off, but it's like, it's not like gratuitous.
Yeah.
like
right.
this.
It's not
No.
like it's not
It's
like,
not like he
they kill
pulls his-
people and they explode everywhere and blood gets everywhere, which is probably what
and
would
it's
happen.
it's not like, which is surprising. It's not like comedically he pulls his finger out of the alien's mouth and it's just like spurting. It's just
Yeah.
like, nope, his finger's gone. That's it. The end. You see it fly into a fish tank. Oh, so violent.
Those of us who had seen it wrote down our ratings based off nostalgia and memory, and now I want to know if your review or your rating has changed. We've kind of had a streak for me of movies that I think I've seen before, but I don't really remember too clearly. This one I kind of went in with like a 3 out of 10. I did not remember it that well. I kind of just remember like the pieces of it just looking terrible and like it just being super campy and cheesy. Even though you have all these great actors, I just remember it being bad. But watching it now, I kind of have a new affinity for the film. I'm by no means like a Tim Burton like stan or anything. I think he has like a place in being like this acclaimed director, but I don't think that he's great by any means. I really enjoyed this film once we got into it. The first half I could speed up a little bit and really get into the fun parts. Once the aliens are there, I think it's a great parody of like sci-fi and alien invasion movies. The political satire is pretty funny. It's very self-aware of itself and it's campy as hell. I think the CGI holds up well because it doesn't take itself too seriously. It's not trying to make like real aliens. It's trying to make these animated like cartoony looking recreations of what was on those trading cards that this is based off of. And for that, I want to say it's a range. Like
You have to give it a number. No
yeah,
range.
yeah. Well, okay. When I first finished the movie, I gave it a 5 out of 10. But as I sit and it stews on me, I kind of want to give it a 7. I don't know. I thought this movie was so much fun, and it literally had me like cracking up laughing at parts. So I guess if I just go in between, I guess I give it a 6 out of 10. I thought this movie was fun as hell, and I recommend it to people that like campy B movie satire, just off the wall.
Going off of what you said, I am pretty much in the exact same boat pre-movie. I remember kind of bits and parts of it. I remember it being kind of rough. So going into it, I had it at a 3 as well. After watching it, it's really hard. Like I said, I have 2 different ratings on it. Objectively, I think this movie would still stay at a 3. Like, it doesn't seem like it's a well-made movie. Like, it just seems like a bad movie. But at the same time, I want to give it like a 7 because it's a really fun, bad movie. Like, it's almost seems like it's intentionally bad to the point that it's fun and it's funny and it's something that honestly feels like a guilty pleasure. So I'm gonna roll with that. If you're going off of if you're gonna have a fun time watching it, you're gonna enjoy it, you're gonna laugh, I would give it a 7. It's a cult classic for a reason. I definitely understand why it wasn't huge, but it's a movie I definitely recommend people watch.
I want to give this movie a higher rating just due to how much I did like it. As everyone else has said, it was funny. It was intentionally bad, like not bad in like the sense that they tried to do something good, and it's not like The Room bad where like they tried to make something serious and they turned out with something horrible. Like you can tell what they were going for. And I think the execution was pretty good. That said, it's still like, I don't know. I want to try and rate these movies objectively, I guess, cuz it's like part of like how much did you enjoy it versus like was the movie actually good? And so for that reason, I'm going to give it a 5. However, it's a soft 5 because it's still an enjoyable movie and it's a cult classic for sure. And if you're into like you've said, like B movies, campy movies, even like sci-fi, like you should still watch it. And I think you'd enjoy it. But I think that as a movie, it is like not good in the conventional sense, you know? Like it's still an enjoyable movie, but the quality is just not good in the conventional sense. So I'd still give it a 5, even so, but with the caveat being that doesn't mean that you shouldn't watch the movie.
If you enjoyed this, don't forget to rate and subscribe. Check us out on Instagram at Cocktails and Classics Pod and use the hashtag Cocktails and Classics to send us your movie and drink recommendations. Tell us how your alien secretion looks. We'll tell you if it's healthy or not. And share us with your friends. And as always,
Jesus, come on.
don't forget. And share us with your friends. And as always, watch responsibly.
God.
Say hi to Cocktails and Classics, Mom.
Hi, Cocktails and Classics. I love you.
Oh,
Oh, that's sweet.
what a nice note from our
What a
fan.
sweet thing to say.